You wake up the size of a dust mite, perched on the edge of an atom like it's some neon-lit stadium. The crowd is losing its mind. Up on the giant screen, one word flashes: reality. And you're about to watch it break its own rules. Because down here, particles don't really act like particles. Waves don't stay in their lane as waves. And where is it is, sometimes, a question the universe just shrugs at. Wait a minute, your whole life, physics has been sold to you as nature's rulebook. Apples fall, balls bounce, lasers go straight, then effect. Clean, predictable, comforting. Quantum mechanics is what you get when you zoom in so far that the rulebook turns into vibes, math vibes. Incredibly precise, never wrong vibes, but yeah, still vibes. And the original troublemaker, the thing that kicked off this whole mess, was light. For centuries, light was like that one friend who can't pick an identity. One day it's a wave, next day it's a bunch of tiny bullets. Scientists argued about it nonstop. They fought, they wrote spicy letters. If Twitter had existed, it would have been ugly. Then along came this little experiment that basically murmured, "Oh, you think you understand reality? Cute." Picture a wall with two narrow slits cut into it. Behind the wall, a screen. Now you fire electrons toward the wall one at a time. Not a stream, not a spray. One single electron, like you're flicking a speck of cosmic dust. If electrons are just particles, you'd expect the screen to show two stripes lined up with the slits. Easy. But what you actually see is an interference pattern. Lots of stripes. The unmistakable signature of a wave. As if each electron somehow went through both slits and then interfered with itself, like it's harmonizing with its own ghost. Okay, that's bizarre, but fine. Maybe electrons are secretly waves, so you get sneaky. You put detectors at the slits to catch the electron red-handed. Aha, you say. Now we'll see which slit you used. And the instant you watch, the interference pattern disappears. Just gone, replaced by the boring two-stripe result, like reality snapped back into line and pretended it never did anything weird. Whoops. So the electron acts like a wave when you don't look, and like a particle when you do. This isn't some believe in yourself poster. This is real physics. It's been tested over and over and over, and it forces you to accept the first big punchline of quantum mechanics. Things don't have definite properties until they're measured. Now careful, that doesn't mean your eyeballs are casting reality spells like a cosmic influencer. It means measurement, any interaction that actually records information changes the system. In the quantum world, finding out isn't gentle, it's contact sport. So then what is an electron before you measure it? It's described by something called a wave function. Think of it like a cloud of possibilities. Not we don't know where it is, but it genuinely doesn't have one single location until something forces that decision. Fun fact, the wave function doesn't predict what will happen. It predicts the odds of what could happen. Quantum mechanics isn't a fortune teller. It's a casino where the math always checks out. And that brings us to the most misunderstood word in science: superposition. Superposition means a system can be in multiple states at once, right up until you measure it. Your brain wants to translate that into something comfy, like, it's really in one state, we just don't know which. But quantum mechanics says, nope, it's not hiding. It's literally a blend of states. Think of a spinning coin. In everyday life, it's either heads or tails while it spins. You just can't see it clearly. In quantum life, it's heads and tails together. A combined state. A heads-tails. A mathematical smoothie. Then you look. Measurement happens. And the wave function collapses into one outcome. Heads, tails, one slit, the other slit, reality picks. Breaking news, reality picks randomly. Not random because humans are clueless. Random because as far as we can tell, that's how the universe is built. Okay, quick recap. Quantum stuff is described by a wave function. The wave function spreads out possibilities, and measurement forces a single outcome based on probabilities. Now you might be thinking, alright, so quantum mechanics is just weird for tiny things. Electrons are dramatic. Cool story. But here's the twist. Quantum weirdness isn't a special mode for small objects. It's the default setting of everything. The only reason you don't notice it is because big things are constantly bumping into their environment air molecules, light. Vibrations and all that interaction acts like nonstop measurement. It destroys delicate superpositions. That process is called decoherence. Translation, the universe is nosy. And nosiness murders magic. If you could isolate something big perfectly, no light, no heat, no air, then, in principle, it could behave quantumly too. And that's when Schrödinger's cat strolls in, looking absolutely exhausted from a century of being dragged into this conversation. Here's the cat setup. A cat sits in a sealed box with a radioactive atom, a detector, and a vial of poison. If the atom decays, the detector clicks, poison releases, cat dies. If it doesn't decay, cat lives. Radioactive decay is quantum random. Before measurement, the atom is in a superposition of decayed and not decayed. And if you follow the math, the whole box becomes a superposition too. Cat alive and cat dead. You open the box, you measure, the wave function collapses. You get one very definite cat. So was the cat really both alive and dead before you opened it? Here's the spicy part. Physicists don't all agree on what that means. Some say collapse is a real physical thing. Some say reality branches into multiple worlds. Some say the wave function is just information. Quantum mechanics is the most successful theory we've ever invented, and we're still debating what it's actually telling us about reality. Pro tip: if you want to start chaos at a physics conference, casually ask, "So, which interpretation are you into?" Then take a slow step backward. Now let's hit another quantum rule that sounds like a practical joke: the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. You've heard it, as you can't know position and momentum at the same time. And sure, that's the vibe. But it's not because our tools are trash. It's because position and momentum aren't both sharply defined in the same quantum state. The tighter you pin down where something is, the fuzzier its momentum gets. And the more precisely you lock in its momentum, the more its position smears out. Like the universe hands you a slider, more certainty on one side costs you certainty on the other. Imagine trying to photograph a hummingbird in a pitch dark room. To see it, you need light. But the light hits it and nudges it. In classical physics, you might say, just use gentler light. Measure more carefully. Quantum says, even with perfect technique, there's still a limit. Not because your hands are shaky. Because reality is built that way. And that uncertainty isn't just a philosophical headache. It changes what's possible. If electrons had perfectly precise positions and momenta, atoms wouldn't be stable. Electrons would spiral into the nucleus like sad little satellites losing altitude. But uncertainty keeps electrons puffed out into stable orbitals, more like clouds than tidy little tracks. No tiny planets around a tiny sun, just probability patterns. Which brings us to the question you've probably been yelling internally this whole time. If electrons don't travel in paths, what are those shells people draw? They're orbitals, regions where the electron is likely to show up if you go looking. Those shaped spheres, dumbbells, clovers, or standing waves of the wave function around the nucleus, like drum vibrations. Like harmonics on a guitar string, chemistry is basically quantum music you can't hear. Wait a minute, if atoms are mostly probability clouds, why do solid objects feel, solid? Because electrons are weirdly strict about personal space, thanks to rules like the Pauli exclusion principle. Two identical electrons can't share the exact same quantum state, so when you press your hand against a table, you're not touching it like two Lego bricks meeting. You're shoving electron clouds into electron clouds, and quantum rules scream, absolutely not. Your hand is mostly empty space. The table is mostly empty space. And the reason you don't fall through is basically quantum paperwork. Fun fact: if you squeeze out all the empty space inside atoms, all of humanity could fit into a sugar cube. You're welcome. Enjoy your next attempt at sleep. Now for the plot twist that makes quantum mechanics feel like a sci-fi script. Entanglement. Entanglement is when two particles share one combined wave function. So their properties are linked, no matter how far apart they are. Here's the classic picture. You create two particles together, so their total spin is 0. And by the way, spin isn't literally them spinning like basketballs. It's a quantum property that behaves kind of like angular momentum. And it comes in discrete outcomes like up or down. Now you send one particle to the moon and keep the other on Earth. You measure yours and get up. Instantly, the moon particle has to be down. Instantly, no signal zipping through space, no time delay, just perfectly matched correlation. Einstein hated this. He called it spooky action at a distance, because it looks like something is traveling faster than light. But here's the catch. You can't use entanglement to send messages faster than light. The outcome you get is random. You can't choose up on demand. You just measure, get whatever you get, and the other side matches in the right way. The universe gives you perfect coordination without letting you cheat causality. Breaking news. Reality is non-local and still refuses to break the speed limit. And entanglement isn't just weird, it's useful. It's the engine behind quantum computing, quantum encryption, and quantum teleportation. Yes, teleportation. Relax. Not beam your body across the galaxy. This is quantum state teleportation, transferring the exact state of a particle to another particle far away using entanglement plus a normal, boring classical message. The original state gets destroyed in the process. No cloning allowed. Quantum mechanics is generous, but it's not letting you copy-paste your homework answers across the cosmos. And speaking of not letting you, quantum has another trick: tunneling. In everyday life, if you roll a ball toward a hill and it doesn't have enough energy, it rolls back. End of story. In the quantum world, particles act like waves, and waves can leak into regions they shouldn't be in. So there's a real non-zero chance a particle shows up on the other side of a barrier without ever having the energy to climb over it. It's like gently tossing a tennis ball at a wall, and once in a while it just appears on the other side because the universe blinked. Sounds ridiculous, until you realize tunneling is why the sun shines. Inside the sun, hydrogen nuclei are positively charged, so they repel each other. To fuse, they need to get extremely close. Classically, most of them shouldn't have enough energy to beat that repulsion, but tunneling gives them a shortcut. Fusion happens anyway. You're warm right now because particles are cheaters. And tunneling isn't just a star thing. It powers tech like tunnel diodes and scanning tunneling microscopes machines that can feel electron clouds and image individual atoms. Not a metaphor, we literally take atom pictures using quantum nonsense. Okay, quick recap. Superposition gives you blended possibility states, measurement locks in one outcome, uncertainty helps keep atoms stable, entanglement ties distant particles together, and tunneling lets particles sneak through barriers. Now here's the glue holding it all together. Quantum mechanics isn't just a grab bag of weird rules. It's a mathematical framework. The wave function evolves smoothly and predictably according to an equation, Schrödinger's equation. Basically the law of motion except for probability waves. So the evolution is deterministic, right up until measurement, where outcomes become probabilistic. That split smooth evolution, sudden collapse, is where the philosophical migraines live. Is collapse a real physical event? Are we just updating information? Do all outcomes happen in branching worlds? Is reality relational, different observers, different descriptions? Quantum mechanics is like the universe saying, here are the answers, don't ask me what the question means. And sure, you might ask, if it's this confusing, why should we trust it? Because it works, like absurdly well. It predicts atomic spectra, it explains semiconductors, it gives you lasers, MRI machines, stable matter, chemistry, starlight, neutron stars, superconductors, the whole modern world. Without quantum mechanics, your phone wouldn't be smart, it'd be a very confident rock. Pro tip, next time an ad tries to sell you a quantum toothbrush, ask them to show you the Hamiltonian. Watch what happens. Now before we wrap, just imagine this with me. Imagine you're holding a tiny quantum object, say an electron. You can't really hold an electron, but just roll with it. It's in a superposition of being in your left hand and your right hand at the same time. You close your eyes, you wait. For a moment, it's not a thing with a location. It's a spread out possibility, a quiet little could be. Then you open your eyes, interaction, measurement, collapse, and suddenly it's in one place. But here's the twist. It wasn't hiding a location from you. It didn't have one. Reality isn't built out of tiny billiard balls carrying secret little labels. It's built out of relationships, probabilities, and constraints like nature is running a computation. And what you experience is the output once observation pins things down. And if that makes you uneasy, good. Quantum mechanics is the universe reminding you it doesn't care what feels intuitive. Your brain evolved to throw rocks and dodge predators, not to picture probability waves living in Hilbert space. So next time you look at your hand, remember what it really is. A quantum miracle stitched together by rules that don't care what you consider normal. Wait a minute, if the deepest layer of reality is probability, then maybe certainty is the truly strange thing. And you're a classical looking little island built out of quantum fog. The stadium lights dim, the crowd hushes. You're still standing on the edge of that atom, staring into the glowing, jittery, rule-breaking heart of matter. The scoreboard still reads reality. Only now you got the inside joke, it's not nearly as solid as it looks.